talk to you about the number one thing that no one ever talks about when building business lines of credit, building business data. I've gone over many, many, many years, listened to a lot of gurus. I didn't get my information from any gurus. I got my information from white papers, making phone calls to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, putting real world information through my clients, having them give me feedback, answering different questions, talking to financial experts, talking to the IRS, talking to bank presidents, everything else. But this is the number one thing, if you write this down, that you'll need in order to build business lines of credit. So pay attention. This is the number one thing. When you're building business lines of credit, you have to set a budget. That's right. You're going to have to spend some money in order to build business lines of credit. But it's money that's well worth it. When we were starting out, I started noticing that I was spending the money for a telephone, fax number. I had a real address and a PO address. I had all these other little expenses. Say, hey, this is getting kind of expensive to build business lines of credit. Now at the back end, I was getting 10 here, 5,000 here on like credit cards, that kind of thing, which I really appreciated. But no one ever said anything about how much a budget. I'm not going to go over the whole budget here, but I want to suggest and tell you the number one thing you have to have is create a budget. Now, Charles, what kind of budget should I have for building business lines of credit? Well, it depends on how big you're going for. If you've never done it before, I would say, okay, set a goal of, let's say, $250,000. I'll make it simple, $100,000 in business lines of credit. For the $100,000, I would probably use a percentage, and I'd say, okay, set aside at least 2% as a budget for the $100,000. So that would be $2,000. And I feel pretty comfortable with that. So if you set aside $2,000 to build to $100,000, you can do it. Now, do you have to spend the $2,000 all at one time? No, you do not. However, I'm just telling you from personal experience that 2% should go to as big as you want. So let's say if you're going for $1 million, for that whole period of time until you get to $1 million, you're probably going to spend about $20,000 about $20,000, maybe less, because a lot of things you don't have to spend money against. So you probably can do is $5,000. Yeah, let's say about $5,000 to $1 million, but it's $1 million though. That's what we're talking, $1 million lines credit. So $5,000 is nothing. It really isn't, because I think with most of my clients, most people start settling after they get to about $300,000 to $400,000 because they already know it's real. They don't have to go back and reinvent the wheel. They see how simple it is. They go step by step, and they'll say, Charles, I don't need to get any more. I don't need any more. That's it. I'm happy. If I want to get another $100,000, I know what to do. In fact, they keep calling me and say, hey, here's another 50, but I don't need it. I don't need it. But at the beginning, everyone set a budget. So, realistically, set aside $1,000. With $1,000, you probably can get to about $75,000 to $100,000 with 75. I was using 2% as a rule of thumb, but you can do it with $1,000. You definitely can do it. But set a budget. So don't go in thinking, oh, this is going to be free, because you have to pay money for incorporation. Most states like about $100, $150. You're going to have to get your EI number, which is free. Start getting the net 30, so they want you to spend a little bit of money there. So you say, okay, for each account I have, I'm going to spend anywhere between $50 to maybe $100 per account. Possibly you don't have to, but we're talking about for accelerated time period. You're going to spend a little bit of money for your revolving, a little bit of money for just time that you don't want to do things. You might hire someone else to do it, things like that. You just get, because a lot of the work gets real monotonous because it's just filling out paperwork, and then just following up with people, answering service you might have for your business, just time, things like that. So set a budget. That is the number one thing that no one ever talks about, no one ever mentions, but I'm mentioning to you because I'm giving you great information. And again, in your budget, back of the envelope type information, I would say probably about 2%. You don't have to spend the full 2%. I'm talking about back of the envelope. So if you're going for $50,000, 2% is $1,000. $100,000, 2% is what, $2,000. $250,000, 2% is $5,000. $750,000, 2% is about $15,000. $1 million is about $20,000. Are you going to spend all the money? No. And besides, when you're going for $1 million, you're going to have, I'm laughing because I already know this to be so true. You're going to already have credit cards, $50,000 here in credit card, another $25,000 here for a credit card. So spend $20,000 on a credit card will be nothing because you're not going to spend all the money at the same time. Plus, you'll be making money doing other things. You might be flipping houses. You might be buying a car and selling the car, getting the money back. I had one of my clients, they got a wholesale license through one of the, like I said, an auto dealer or some dealership association. And because he's able for the dealer association, he didn't know the cars were so cheap. So he was telling me he went and bought some brand new luxury vehicle, and he was only have to spend like $5,000, $6,000 on it. But he's able to flip the vehicle for $12,000, $15,000 or more because it's a luxury vehicle. And the good reason why he had it, because he had his credit card that he got through business credit. He didn't have to stress and say, I gotta give the $6,000. It's like, no, I built business credit. Here you go. And they got it. Another one of my clients gives you opportunities to fly to seminars, gives you opportunities to go see things. You might see that house, like in Detroit, has houses for $5,000. And if you're a great contractor, you say, well, I'll get that house for $5,000 here in my credit card, knowing that I have a Home Depot account that has, $10,000 on it. I'd go get the supplies today and we'd be done with this house in less than a month and put it back on the market, and double, triple your money, whatever. So in answer to your question, the number one thing you have to remember is budget. You have to develop a budget. So if you want any more information, contact me, charles@businessdata123.com, info@businessdata123.com, or at businessdata123.com. The name of our company is called Business Data Consulting. We can help you with so much more than just a business credit, but data is the most important thing as we go forward. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking and helping you later. Have a great